that's good feedback to the product owner in terms of what you've been able to, that you've given it some thought, you've advised the product owner that the logo is going to take too much time. Because it's taken up so much time, you and I have agreed a compromise. That compromise is a more simplified logo. Brilliant. Really works. Well done. You're doing a great job.
Yeah, well.
Yeah? Tell me what you're doing.
We're creating a catalog page.
Okay.
We are creating a catalog page that showcases all the products that we have on offer. So we have formal hats, men's hats, sports hats, and ladies' hats, and that's based on the feedback you gave us last
we gave
time.
you, okay.
Yep. And we're also making sure that it has our name, our logo, is really identifiable. There's features about products, and they flip through as well. So when you're on the site, they change.
Yep.
And yeah.
So always go through the acceptance criteria, and it's always worth going back there. So does it say where the logo is going to be on the left-hand side or the right-hand side? No, it doesn't. So perhaps that might be a question that you give to the product owner. A little bit more detailed product owner. Is there a consistency? Because I think on a previous one we've got it on the right-hand side. Was that an oversight? Is there a requirement for meeting something? That's looking good. I like the formal hats, men hats. Nice change. I actually want people to wear these hats. Do you want me to? Do you want me to tick this off now?
Yeah, if you could.
I will. I'm very. Let me just check against the. So clearly defined categories of hats. Yes. Picture of hat in each box. Yes. Formal hats may have a top hat, A1 hats, logo. Okay, lovely. You get my tick.
Thank you.
Congratulations, guys. One thing.
Well, we had another that yellow person that was from the other one.
Fit name into logo. All right. So fit name into logo, which you've done. Okay, do you want to tick this? Yes. Oh, you know you've ticked it already. So this is an adjustment that I gave you. That's good. I like that you've taken it in. And
so this was the menu bar that's going to appear on each of the pages.
Yep.
So we drafted a few ideas of which you ended up deciding.
Hat world with a bubble.
With bubbles?
Catalog, so it's going to be easily readable. When selected, take me to a new page. Okay, catalog, sign in, and contact us. Okay.
Sorry, we've got the logo on each web page. That's actually done. Oh. Sorry.
Wait a minute. Can we sign this off?
Yes, I'll tick that off. I'm happy. Great. And what else have you got?
So PO, just in terms of the logo on each web page,
Yes.
we've got that ready.
So you've got that ready, okay?
Yep.
So we're ready to put onto that each one.
Yep.
I'm ready to accept that.
So these ones we did get a start on, but we haven't quite finished in this sprint.
We've got
I guess no, you don't even show it to me.
Yeah, we can't until the next.
So we obviously followed a very similar process. Spent quite a bit of time on the vision and what the plan was for that, and then doing the epics and how we did test exercising for those, and then we went down one step further. It probably took us longer to engage the product owner in terms of what was the scope items that we could remove from the list. So that was a learning for us. And then divvying up all the work and getting sign-off along the way and engaging the product owners was really important and critical for us. Sprint 1, not even a pancake, I don't think. Maybe loose butter. But we got there in the end and did it. So we got a lot of learnings, especially around the planning, multitasking and the interdependencies between tasks, which I don't think we've fully looked through, and the importance of rating all of the acceptance criteria.
I think it was definitely a learning here.
Yeah, so we did that, and Sprint 2 went much more smoothly.
And I think you just hit the nail on the head. The idea that you hadn't read the acceptance criteria, so you charged on, and we didn't. And I think part of that is how much did the acceptance criteria help you in defining what needed to be done? That is extraordinarily important. That if you've got it, then I know where it is. I know that destination. I know where to go if I've got that there. It really does help define it and crystallize the team's thoughts. Hat World, what did you learn? What are some of the learnings that you got from the team here?
I think with the acceptance criteria, there was one for the menu page where we thought we understood it, so we didn't actually ask questions at the beginning, but then later in discussions with the product owner, it turned out that what was actually required was different to our understanding, so it's good just to talk through stuff right at the beginning. Yeah.
Beautiful. Get that product owner is not that one-hit wonder. You know, that continuous engagement, working with the product owner, getting that greater clarity.
There was also one instance in the second sprint where the requirement was was larger than we could have handled in the second sprint, and we negotiated that down.
That's a great point. So there was a requirement that was too big to fit in the sprint, but the product owner wanted it to go into the sprint. So we worked together to break down that big story into 2 smaller stories. So therefore make it compatible for to be accepted in the sprint. And that added value. Always think about that. Don't just say, oh, the computer says no. Think about, is there a middle ground somewhere? And that was thank you, Artur, for bringing that up. That was a very good example of a middle ground. What did you see over there? I think these guys, they did very well. I worked a lot with this team, and what I seen was that these guys were nailing it. They were smashing it. Every time I come around, they were ahead of the game for a lot of time. They had already done a retrospective before I'd asked you to do a retrospective. They were taking in those key components and those key learnings, and they've taken them down now, but they were up here as to what they were going to be, and so it was part of the backlog. I think they did outstanding well. It's clean, there's a lot of information, and they achieved the goals very, very well. Guys, congratulations, brave hats. Give them a round of applause.